Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. You're watching JCTV playing exclusively on the Xbox One console. This is Stranded in the Pacific Northwest episode number 3. So if you've tuned in last episode, we recently bought this huge field and this farm, and we're just adding a few things now. There is a lot to do, and I mean a lot to do. So we're adding this little workshop so we can repair our machines or our machine because we currently only own one tractor at this point in time, and this handy little power wash station so we can keep things nice and clean and neat. So when I say there's lots to do, there's lots to do. We have next to no funds whatsoever. We only have the $50,000 that you see there. We do have to buy a lot of things. We need a fertilizer spreader, we need a seeder, we need a harvester, we need a tipper, probably another tractor if we can afford it. But right now, we're going to start with the seeder because it is time to seed that huge field that we just purchased. So we're going to lease this particular seeder here. It does hold a lot. It also holds fertilizer as well, so we can fertilize the first round up to 50% while we seed. We're just going to buy, well, maybe instead we'll just buy a seed station instead of just buying pallets. That just makes sense because we're going to use this a lot more anyway. We'll just place this right here and then we'll put a fertilizer station as well, and we'll drive the seeder back to our farm. We will fill it up the rest of the way with seed and fertilizer, and we'll get going. If you're just joining us in this series, I would advise going back and watching the first 2 episodes so you can see how we got here and what we did and the trials and tribulations of setting up your own farm with nothing, so that you can get a good picture of how this series is going to go. So it did cost us roughly $20,000 to put seed in this thing. I'm not sure why the fertilizer is not going in. It's possible I may have the wrong tank. I think that's a liquid fertilizer tank, and you can see that there's nothing in it. Let's try this again. I think I have to buy the solid fertilizer tank. Um, yeah, that's not really working. So let's just have a look here. Yeah, I did. So skip ahead a little bit. I did have the wrong fertilizer tank. We did have to buy a solid fertilizer tank. Now we're all full. You can see that we're ready to go. We're going to be planting soybeans because soybeans are always high in price and we need money, and we need money fast. So off we go to sow our field with soybeans. It's very beneficial to have your field very close to your farm to limit driving time and whatnot, traffic jams, accidents, you name it. So while we're going to set the worker to sow the field, and while we're doing that, we're going to do some jobs. We've got a lot of money to raise. This is one of the jobs that we did, this fertilizing job here. That nets us $25,000. Plus, we got reimbursed for all the fertilizer that we put in there, so that's good. Then we did this cultivating job, and that net us $2,200. Then we did, let me see here. No, this is back at the seeder. So we're going to set forth in motion the seed worker to seed our field. As I said before, it was a very busy day. This is another job that we're going to do. You can see here now we're done seeding. Okay, I was a little confused there. All right, so the seeding is done. We're going to drive the seeder back to our farm. We're going to empty it out too because this is just a lease. So when you empty out a leased seeder, it gives you all the remaining seed inside the machine in the shape of pallets. And a good thing about your seeder is that you can also use it as a plow. There you go. Just push everything back into the corner. We will fold up this seeder and send it back to the shop. And while we were doing that, we did some more jobs. Here's the overflow from a job we did with more soybeans. And we did even more jobs. Here's a cotton job that we did later on that day as well. We're just about 59,000 or $65,000 now, so that's good. We did go and buy a fertilizer spreader rather. Let's go to the shop and pick that up because now it's time to fertilize our soybeans because we do need a lot of money. It makes sense to spend a little bit to get a little bit. So, oh, accident, rolled the truck. What I mean by that, folks, is that if you fertilize your crops, you do get more yield. So there's 2 rounds of fertilizer in Farming Simulator 19, not like 17 where there was 3 rounds where you would get 30, 60, and then 90% more crops. This is just 2, and I'm pretty sure it's still 30 and 60. So to fertilize your crops gives you right up to 100%, gives you 60% more yield. So it just makes sense to spend that little bit of extra money. It only costs $3,000 to fill the seeder, and then we'll make twice a whole bunch more than that just fertilizing. So there we go. Skip ahead a little bit. The fertilizing's done. We're going to drive the fertilizer spreader back to the farm. Here's a clip of another job we did after that. We're down to 42,000 now. Things really aren't going our way in terms of funds. So we just keep doing more jobs and more jobs. Here's a fertilizing job we did. We saved a little bit of money because we didn't have to borrow that equipment. We just used our own. And then you can see here we did a baling job as well. That gave us a few $1,000s. We're back up to $64,000 now. And what I'm actually doing now is maxing out the bank loan because it's time to harvest the soybeans. We need a harvester and we need a tipper. And we also need a header for the harvester. So we're doing that now. Like I said, we've maxed out our loan. We have the bank will give us no more money. So we need to make this count. We need a big harvest from these soybeans. So what we're going to do is while we're harvesting these soybeans, we're going to turn on the time lapse, and then we'll check back in with you after these soybeans are harvested, and then we will assess the funds situation with the bank. Maybe we can pay them $20,000 or $30,000 back. Who knows? But I think after we harvest the soybeans, we're going to have to lease another seeder because we don't have enough money to purchase one, and the bank won't give us money. It'll take quite a few more episodes before we're actually able to buy a seeder, I think, depending on the prices. So let's turn on the time-lapse music, sit back, relax, and we'll check back in with you after the soybeans are done. All right, well, that about wraps up this episode, folks. Look at that. We made out with $107,000. We don't have enough to buy a seeder or probably even fill it after we bought one, so we're going to have to lease another one. But that's a problem for next episode. We'll tackle that bridge when we come to it. Don't forget, folks, subscribe to my channel, like and share this video as well. Click that notification button so you can be alerted every time we upload new content. Follow us on Twitter as well. Don't forget, have a great day. This is JCTV saying, see you later.